Welcome back, and thanks for still joining us. And Egypt, in different parts of the world, has been filled with anger. And this week we've been facing terrorism. And just as we were saying in the introduction, just as we feel stable and about to be safe, terrorism just breaks out. And a lot has been going on this week regarding the officer who was just assassinated 3-4 days ago, right in front of his house, and the Sinai accident of the explosive of the soldiers who were just going off on holiday and to see their families and friends, and then they just don't make it, and a car just explodes and they die. This has all been very, very tragic, and we have with us joined today Dr. Amr Saadawi, the political analyst and journalist, who will be talking to us about all this and what is happening in Egypt. Welcome,
I'd like to welcome you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So at the beginning, I'd like to ask you, how are you seeing this scene now? Is it a sort of a political, remains to be a political scene, or is it again the anti-terrorism fight that Egypt has been going on, maybe even in the early 80s until now?
Well, I can say that the situation now are very critical against Egypt because we all know that the CIA is not playing. And we discover it 100% that they are working against us, against Egypt. And there was a big plan from Mr. Obama and his group, and cooperating with Turkey, Qatar, whatever, Hamas. I don't like to mention Hamas because Hamas is not exist as anything. They are a bunch of killers. They have a very hard feelings for the new system in Egypt, and what they have right now is that they talk about Islam. How long they've been talking about Islam against Israel, and they should be with Israel, and you know, the ex-president Morsi, he made a deal just like this with Hamas and Israel in a few minutes. He knew that this will finish the problems between Israel and Hamas. Right now, the problem is that Mr. Obama is not satisfied because Egypt are stable without the Brotherhood. So now he's trying to bring Al-Qaeda and bring whatever to kill our soldiers in Sinai. But I think that they will be very sorry the next few days. And we will hear a very good news about they killing our soldiers.
And Dr. Amr, also, as you of course know, that during the past week we've had the assassination of the police officer right in front of his house. Do you think this is the beginning of a new strategy of terrorism?
Yes.
A string of assassinations that
yes,
we're actually coming up to?
Of course.
What are your thoughts?
There is what they call it Ansar al-Quds, or whatever they're mentioned, their names. It's just a bunch of names. It's not. It's one system. All of them are one system. And Hamas, al-Jihad, whatever this kind. Well, let's say that all of them against Egypt. Egypt will win. Let them read the history exactly what happened in Egypt before, from a long time. When the Great Britain was here, we kicked them out. Turkey was here, we kicked them out. France was here, we kicked them out. Egypt will solve. Egypt will be strong. We'll save Egypt. Not me, not you, the whole society of Egypt. And very critical, and they didn't expect that Egypt will follow all this, and we will kick the Brotherhood outside, and we will call it mercy. The Brotherhood, right now, we shouldn't mention them by the name of Brotherhood. We can say the brother of tourism, the brother of killers, because what they were doing in Egypt is just killing. They burn the Egyptian flag. It is something that unacceptable, unbelievable that anyone in the world, all the world, will accept that Egyptian flag will be burned. Most of the people were burning the American flag, the Israeli flag. But Egypt? No. No one burned it before.
So, sir, looking at because people are quite angry about the situation and about what's happening to the Egyptian soldiers and the Egyptian officers. But from the other side, we've lived several years now, ever since the 25th of January, where there was a lot of incidents that are related and surge of attacks that are focused on the military. But until this stage, we have never, the military or the cabinet never, or any of the cabinets, never announced who's responsible for these attacks. So at this stage, we as Egyptians, we don't really know who is behind it.
Of course, I'm with you 100% of what you say, because we mentioned for a lot of militaries in charge peoples in a lot of programs I mentioned, and I call them personally. I say that we have to protect our soldiers. Even I mention it at the Facebook, on my Facebook account a lot of time, because we have to protect our soldiers if they are moving to have their holiday for a few days, or it should be protected, even to move by plane or to move by some very strong protection, that they don't move just like this, because in their bus anybody can just throw a stone, not a bomb. So what was happening, we should know, all of us, who's in charge about it and why it's happened and how they will solve it, and how they will give us our rights to see who killed them, and we should.
So in your opinion,
punch.
what is making the government to hold back this announcement, to hold someone responsible for it?
You know what?
Yeah.
I think also there should be a system of deterrence.
Yeah.
To be able to actually, people wouldn't do it again.
Of course, that's I'm with you 100%, and that's what we mentioned, and we would like to mention it all the time, and please do it in all your programs and mention it, that our voice will be with the army, should protect our soldiers, because they are protecting us.
What if the because there is a lot of accusation directed towards the Brotherhood. What if it's not the Brotherhood? What if it's the enemy? What if it's other parties who are interested to deter the instability in Egypt?
Of course, all what's happening is not the Brotherhood. It's as
It's
I
like a
told you,
mix.
it's a system. They are a system. They are a bunch of killers. I mentioned my words, and I'm sure about what I'm talking about. Brotherhood is just a very small point in a very big circle, and this circle, we have to ask the CIA what you've been doing with Morsi. We have a lot of things. It proves that you were arranging to stall half of Sinai and give it to Hamas to finish the Palestinians' case. And I think that they are very upset of what's happening, because all their plan being crashed.
Well, Doctor, let me take you to another. There's also, again, this week, the second commemoration of the Mohammed Mahmoud incident that happened 2 years ago. Can you tell me, how did you see the events that happened in Tahrir Square just 2 days ago? How, and the burning of the flag, as we just mentioned earlier on?
Well, this is another story, because what was happening in Tahrir Square and Mohammed Mahmoud is just, let's say, the sex of the devil, not the sex of April. I mentioned he's in the States now. He's Ahmad Maher. He's enjoying staying in the States, and they are giving him a very good approach, how he can support all his groups here to make a lot of problems for Egypt. What's happening to Tahrir Mohammed Mahmoud? It's very simple. We know that the police, they are now a very good people, and they stand by us, and the police and the army and the population, the people, we are together one hand right now. So they would like to enter this and broke it by all means, but the Egyptian society are very clever people. They are really very clever people. We never let them do this again. What's happening in Tahrir Square and burning the flag and this kind of story, I think they are not Egyptian. I think they don't deserve to be Egyptian. They don't deserve anything from Egypt. And let's say if they were studying, Egypt was spending their money for their education. Egypt spending a lot of money from the Egyptian society, from all what we have, till they became a strong people and they burn our flag. Thank you very much. Thank you. You don't deserve to be Egyptian.
So here's the thing that part of the problem that we're living today is the exclusion, and also that we don't really have the sort of reconciliation with the different parties. I would agree with you that there is a lot of anger regarding things that are against Egypt and the Egyptian flag. But once again, without having the sort of unity and the sense of inclusion within the country, I don't think things can go smoothly towards progress and development.
Well, I can see something by my eyes and what I believe. You can see it with a different way. And most of the people, the politics right now in Egypt, they are not strong enough. Hosni Mubarak, when he was the president of Egypt, he didn't give a chance for most of the politics people to announce what they are planning and to provide what they want and to let the Egyptian people or the society of Egypt to accept their plans and their ideas. When the revolution happened, 25 of June, January, it was something new for the Egyptians, something new. So there was a lot of problems. Who was the organizing for ready to attack the authorization and to take it and to stall it?
Sir,
Was the Brotherhood.
without interrupting you, let's move on for a very short break. I'll return back for more discussion with Ahmed Saadawi, political activist and